The health benefits of legal cannabis. Marijuana and its legalization in many states in the last few years has really steered the debate over the drug in a different direction. What once used to be thought of as a gateway drug that only slackers and partygoers use is now being thought of as a legitimate medical aid that's for the most part not that harmful. There are a number of benefits from the use of marijuana, and in the medical field it has become a valuable tool used to treat various illnesses. Marijuana is known to be used for treating things such as glaucoma, depression, pain, eating disorders, insomnia, and anxiety. It's also used by cancer patients when going through chemotherapy. Marijuana is made up of chemicals called cannabinoids. The two biggest cannabinoids in marijuana are THC and CBD. Cannabidiol, or CBD, is the second most abundant chemical in cannabis and is frequently used for medical purposes. You won't get the same psychoactive effects that you would from THC, which means CBD won't make you high. Instead, the effects are more subtle and can be used for healing and relaxation. Over the years, CBD has become increasingly more popular amongst those that seek to replace certain pharmaceuticals. Someone that I know that uses marijuana products such as CBD is my mother. My mother is a 58-year-old African-American woman with 2 sons. Being a black woman from an older generation, it makes sense that she used to have negative opinions about marijuana. Having the knowledge that black people are often more likely to be arrested for using marijuana is enough to deter someone like my mother from using the drug, even if it benefits them. The stigma behind marijuana has changed over the years. It is now more accepted as a drug for both medical purposes and recreational purposes. In my mother's case, she uses CBD products for relaxation, stress relief, and pain relief. My mother often purchases CBD oils and CBD gummy edibles. She uses these products in various circumstances. For example, one time my mother injured her elbow, she rubbed CBD oil on the part that hurt to help relieve some of the pain. Another example is when my mother is stressed, she often eats a CBD edible that has subtle, relaxing effects. Even I have had experience with some commercial cannabis and hemp products. For example, just recently I have started using hemp lotion to moisturize. The point is that cannabis and hemp plants have a wide range of uses other than recreationally getting high. These plants can do a lot of good for people, and it doesn't make sense to restrict them from people that might benefit from their effects. A lot of the stigmas of marijuana come from years of propaganda and racist political decisions that were meant to target certain groups. An early example would be the policies that were being made after an influx of Mexican immigrants into the United States during the early 1900s. These immigrants popularized recreational use of marijuana, which led to increased legislation over the substance. Then, of course, there's the 1960s, where the drug had been outlawed and heavily criminalized, seemingly to target blacks, Hispanics, and supporters of the anti-war movement. Not to mention the endless war on drugs that have put countless numbers of people in prison over nonviolent possession charges for marijuana. With all this in mind, it is understandable for someone like my mother to be skeptical of the use of marijuana. This is especially true for her because she is also worried about her children and wants to set a good example for us. But as the climate surrounding the drug changes, so does the perspective of numerous people that have really never gotten a chance to enjoy the benefits of this extremely dynamic plant. According to Forbes, last year in 2020, there were more people arrested for cannabis than all violent crimes. This is also considering how marijuana was deemed essential at the start of the pandemic by several states. It's easy to get caught up in the hype as the United States sends mixed messages about the drug. The simple fact that you can see and purchase marijuana merchandise and paraphernalia in a non-legal state can be confusing, and it's important to remember to remain careful about the use of the drug. The practical and industrial applications of cannabis has changed many aspects of my mother's life. From her perspective, it has actually helped her feel better about a lot of things. She's happy that she can reduce the amount of meds that she's on. She's glad that she has found another method of relaxation and tension relief. It has helped her with her diet, as she has been better about managing her eating habits due to some of the effects of the cannabis products that she purchases. My mother is a clear example of someone who benefits from the legal use of cannabis. There's a vast amount of people that would benefit from the industrial and medical applications of marijuana. I personally believe that cannabis should be legal because there's a lot of people that genuinely need it. It's funny how the majority of the legal cannabis industry is dominated by white owners and growers, even though black and brown people have been arrested for more cannabis offenses. I believe this is a fine line we must tread carefully on because it goes back to the white savior complex that we spoke about from the Huey article. Weed is now essential even though people have spent their entire lives behind bars for simple possession. I just hope that in the end, the people who need to benefit from this new era are actually the ones benefiting and not being taken advantage of.